please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Slip a tad bit more on the benchmark indices. So add Z Entertainment to the losers list. So that's down close to about 1.5% to 2%. Adani Ports has dipped into the red as we speak. A couple of these auto names like M&M has weakened nearly about 2%. Incremental pressure coming through on M&M as well. Ashwani Gujral and Prakash Gaba join us on the show now. Ashwani, weakening a tad bit as we speak. Your thoughts on the day so far?
See, weakness 20-25 points is not a big deal. What I am looking at is a kind of big picture where, on a different day, possibly with these sort of macros, Bank Nifty should be down 500. That it's not falling 500 and the market is reacting well to bad news is a positive because, macros, they tend to turn. Today, crude is 78, tomorrow it will be 70. Rupee is 71 today, tomorrow it can be 69.50. So, the level of this decline is giving me a hint about, what you could expect on the upside, which could be much sharper than what we are seeing on the downside. So for the moment, I think with a stop, say around 27,900, it's a good trade to get long on Bank Nifty with a bit of a view. And even on the rupee sensitives, I think pharma, IT have begun a strong rally. So overall, there isn't great amount of negativity. Having said that, Lupin is a buy with a stop of 918, target of 940. Petronet is a buy with a stop of 242, target of 256. And HDFC is a sell with a stop of 1920, target of 1895.
Okay, all right, Ashwani, thanks so much for that. Prakash, coming across to you. Your trade on the Nifty Bank, as well as a couple of stocks you would have for us?
Sure. Good afternoon to you. Well, so far, Nifty, the trend still looks okay to me as long as I said in the morning, the level of 11,625, that stands. As long as that stands, I think it's on. As far as Bank Nifty is concerned, 28,000 is a very strong support zone to work with. Well, since we have run up so far, quite possible we may see some sluggishness, but the basic trend has still not been compromised on my parameters. I have two stocks, both on the long side. I will look at Ajanta Pharma. That certainly looks good to me. Ajanta Pharma can climb to levels closer to 1300 zones, stop below 1260. Last couple of days, what we are seeing is a good action on pharma stocks. I also like Bharat Forge, looks good, seen a good up move, some kind of a consolidation, and a fresh up move has started today in Bharat Forge. Targets on the upside, 690. Stop below, 672.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen, for that. A quick check on the European markets as they've opened up for trade, expected to be in the red on the back of escalating trade war tensions, as reports suggest that Donald Trump might step up his, his rhetoric or his action against China. So in the red right now for the CAC DAX and the FTSE, roughly down close to about 0.5%. But moving on, after the Allahabad High Court refused interim relief to the stress power companies, a high-level empowered committee on stress power projects will be meeting today. Anshu Sharma joins us to tell us what's on the agenda. Anshu?
That's right. The high-level empowered committee on stress assets in the power sector will be meeting today. The committee is headed by P.K. Sinha, who's the cabinet secretary, and there will be representation from Ministry of Power, Finance, Coal, Railway, as well as the lenders who have maximum exposure in these 34 stress assets specifically. Also note that there will be representation from the Reserve Bank of India as per the Allahabad High Court order, which was given just this week. Remember, about 34 power assets are under stress, and of these, some 9 assets are at various stages of insolvency and bankruptcy code, and about 7 assets out of 34 have been resolved with regards to coal supply issues. The committee will basically look into issues which is making these assets stressed, and that will include fuel linkage policy, any regulatory issues that these assets are facing. Apart from that, it will ensure that there should be some mechanism mechanism to bring in timely payment from discoms, because some of these assets are facing issues of delayed payment from discoms. So any issue which is actually stalling these projects will be discussed, and we'll have to wait and watch out for that today evening. We'll get you more post the meeting. Back to you.
Exclusive then. On his 80th birthday, the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, sat down with CNBC's Becky Quick and spoke on a whole host of issues, including the US economy and the impact of trade war on the markets. Let's listen in.
The economy, really since the fall of 2009, has progressively gotten better, but it started from a very low base. It started from panic. And we've now had very soon, we've had 9 full years of improvement in business. I mean, quarter by quarter. Now, sometimes it looks like 1% or 1.25%, sometimes it's 2.5%. Now it looks even better than that. But business is good. Across the board, business is good. It was good 2 years ago, but it keeps getting better. But the American public household wealth is over $100 trillion. And 250 years ago, this island where nothing was worth, there wasn't anything here. I mean, $24 for Peter Minuet.
But the economy's firing on all cylinders. One issue that people have worried about is what's happening with trade and tariffs. Have you seen any impact on Berkshire's businesses or higher costs associated with any tariffs that have gone into place?
Yeah, there are a few, definitely. And we buy steel, for example. I mean, at MyTech, or we buy it at a lot of places. And we are seeing some effects from that, and we're seeing some effects from inflation.
I'm sorry, from inflation.
We've seen more in the way of cost increases in the last year, if you go across all of our businesses, but particularly building materials, or we sell paint. I mean, the can it comes in, that is a lot more expensive than it was a year ago.
How much of the inflation is directly tied to the tariffs, and how much is just from an improving economy and inflation you would expect to creep in?
Yeah, I can't tell you exactly yet, and some of them are kicking. Well, newsprint, it pops up in different places. I haven't really done that, but I was seeing it in raw materials well before the tariff situation came up. But the tariff situation will aggravate it.
Around that 11,650 mark on the Nifty, it's weighed down by Yes Bank, now down close to about 6%, and Reliance Industries, after the stupendous run that it's had, is seeing some profit booking for the last 3 trading sessions. Today as well, Reliance Industries is down 2.5%. But let's talk about the overall market and the outlook going ahead. Here is Sunil Singhania of Abacus Asset Management. He says that one can see a clear move happening from physical assets to financial assets in the market, and he adds that he's bullish on the corporate banks. Listen in.
The markets are at an all-time high, but maybe the exposure to equity is still very, very small. In fact, there are more people willing to or waiting for the markets to correct to invest rather than the other way around. So I think the clear move from physical assets to financial assets, and investors looking at that is very, very visible. As far as flows are concerned, I've only got more confident in the last 1.5 months than I was earlier. In terms of our view on the banking sector, again, corporate banks look exciting. We have already seen a big outperformance over the last couple of months by corporate banks over their retail counterparts.
Well, HPCL held their annual general body meeting yesterday. My colleague Yash Jain caught up with Mr. Surana, the chairman and MD of the company. He began by asking him what are the GRMs we can expect for the second quarter. Let's listen in to what Mr. Surana had to tell us.
The crude prices remains the way it is, and the cracks remains the way it is, with no volatility much, then I think we should be able to clock a $7 GRM in this quarter also. But if the crude prices goes higher and the cracks do not improve to substantial to commensurate level, then the fuel which we burn in the refinery will be costly. So that may impact the GRMs. But I think in the current situation, we should be able to clock $7.
On the downward side, what is the kind of hard stop that you're looking at GRMs if the crude and the currency movement does not go in the company's favor?
I will still think that we'll clock 6.5.
Okay. As far as the merger plan between HPCL and MRPL is concerned, help us understand how far has that progressed and how soon do you see it getting accomplished and you having MRPL on board as far as HPCL is concerned?
No, we are in discussion with ONGC, and on this issue there is a reasonable alignment between all the three entities. And we are working the contours of the thing, and as soon as we finalize the whole plan, I think that will be the most appropriate time to let you know about the exact details. But we are actively working on it.
In your AGM, you had mentioned that you would be, putting 75,000 crore rupees as far as expansion plan is concerned over the next 5 years. Just a slight more insight into it. What's the investment plan as far as this financial year is concerned, and what are some of the most important projects that you're seeing, expansion or greenfield as far as HPCL is concerned?
Yeah, that's correct. The next 5 years we are having a capex of around 75,000 crore. In this year, 2018-19, we have got a capex of around 8,100 crore. As far as Vizag refinery expansion is concerned, we already have placed the orders for 17,000 crore. Okay, out of 20,000 crores. That means if that is an indication of the progress of the project. The project is already in a very advanced stage. We expect it to complete somewhere end of 2020 or 2021. But because the BS6 part of the project will be commissioned by 2020, definitely. The bottom upgradation facilities will bring the higher distillate yield. This is a new technology which is coming, and which will convert the bottoms to distillates. So it will aid to the GRM, and we expect at least $3 to $4 addition to whole of the GRM of the whole refinery on 15 million ton minimum. It can be more than that.
A couple of stocks, MRPL, that's the stock you should really focus on. Just take a look at that. That's spiking up as we speak. This after, we had that commentary that just came in there from HPCL. They're looking at a reasonable alignment between those companies. And in fact, they're working on contours of merging MRPL into HPCL. And that's why, in fact, that stock has taken off in the last few minutes. In discussion with ONGC on the merger of MRPL into HPCL, and the other line as well should come up for you on the screen. And clearly, that stock is reacting to those couple of statements that came in from Mr. Surana in that HPCL interview that we just played out for you. Stock spiking up as we speak. Reasonable alignment between those three companies. That's ONGC, HPCL, as well as MRPL. And the stock is taking off as we speak. But let's talk about the commodity space. And Manisha Gupta is with us. Manisha, run us through what's going on.
Well, since the company you spoke about just right now, I have to do with the crude oil. So let's talk about that, because we have seen the prices continue to gain up on that. The crude is trading at a 1-month highs and has gained 10% in last 2 weeks itself. And we have seen good amount of gains actually continue to hold. This actually is headed for a weekly and a monthly gain also for that sector. Kunal Shah of Nirmal Bang then joins us to talk more about that. Kunal, hi. What is your sense now on the crude oil prices? We seem to be ending the week and month with some gains. Do you see it sustaining? Are you giving out a buy call even at these levels?
For the minute upside, for the Brent it can test $80, and for the WTI it can test, but it will not sustain. So I would recommend to go long for the very small target of 5030, 5040, but I won't be aggressively buying crude oil at these levels.
Is there anything, Kunal, that you're buying in the metal space? Because we have seen China continue to talk about at least on boosting stimulus for the economy. We also have seen the PMI data come in on the positive. Can't say the same about the export orders there. But then, or is the US-China tariff war, there could be another list now in the next week as well. Is that really going to rule the markets?
Yes, I think uncertainty that whether the new sanction, whether the new a problem is going to come for China from US in form of another $2 billion worth of goods are going to get taxed at 10% duty. So that remains to be seen. But meanwhile, I believe that aluminum looks very attractive to us. The raw material of aluminum, like alumina, the prices of that have shot up by almost 15 to 20% in last 1.5 months. So aluminum fundamentally looks very, very good. The production cuts in China are seen intensifying going forward during the winter curbs. Roughly 20% to 25% of the total Chinese capacity will be shut off because of the winter curbs. So I think aluminum is a good bet. One can go long at 150.50, and one can expect prices to move up and test levels of 154.
You mentioned aluminum, Kunal, and we have seen this as the only metal that actually has been in the positive for the 2018. Just all the other metals, of course, have seen declines or negative returns for a quarter, etc. How much further gains in aluminum would you expect then for the rest of 2018, if you put it like that?
This metal has come into a very interesting proposition. On one hand, you have the Chinese production going down. On the other hand, you have raw material prices which is used to make aluminum, like alumina, is shooting up sharply. So it's very interesting. So in spite of the fact that the Chinese slowdown or China is slowing down, the demand growth is slowing down, but the supply side is getting even more tighter.
Right.
So it is a similar scenario with what happened in zinc. So I see structural bullish trend to continue in aluminum, and upside target can be seen. You can see aluminum somewhere trading at $2,300, $2,350 by the end of the year.
And before we let you go, a quick call on the gold prices. What's your strategy on that?
I'm bullish on gold, and I believe that apart from all the aberration, all the noise which is going on, these are not the levels to go short. It's just the Indian rupee has weakened sharply. Because of that, we have not seen a downside on Indian bourses. But I think 1.5 to 2 years perspective, gold is the ultimate investment at this juncture. And even for the short term, if you buy at 30,000, you are likely to see gold prices 30,300 is good levels to go long for the upside target of 30,550.
Okay, Kunal, thank you very much for that. On the subject of rupee, this will be a 3.5% decline that we're going to see for the currency in this month itself. And this is the biggest monthly decline in the month of August, at least for the last 3 years. And it marks the 7th consecutive month of a decline for the currency, down 10%.